It's game week, but more than anything, it is rivalry week. This Friday at 11 o'clock Central, Nebraska prepares to take on the very talented, disciplined Iowa Hawkeyes in a battle for the Heroes Trophy. So in today's video, I'm going to reveal a comprehensive and complete preview of this ball game. What does Iowa bring to the table? What are their massive strengths that we need to watch out for? What are their glaring weaknesses that we need to exploit? What are the 5 keys, not only for Nebraska to win, but to pull off this huge rivalry upset and everything else you need to know? So really quick, this is a big time preview video. If you're excited about Friday, I know why I am. Hit that like button. And also, we are getting so close to 15,000 subscribers, and for good reason. This is the only channel on YouTube that posts daily content talking Nebraska, and we're not slowing down anytime soon. It's your turn to join the family. It's no brainer. Take 2 seconds, hit that subscribe button. Thank you so much. But without further ado, we have a lot to talk about. This Friday, Nebraska walks into their final regular season game of the year against a familiar foe, our dreaded rival to the east, the Iowa Hawkeyes, who are walking in with the exact same records what we have, 7-4 on the season. Now, their 4 losses are to Iowa State in a thriller in September. They lost to Indiana, who's going to make the playoffs. They lost to Oregon, who's also going to make the playoffs. And they lost to USC, who Nebraska also lost to just a couple weeks ago. But other than that, Iowa has took care of business. They beat Michigan State in a very close ball game last week, which went down to the wire. They won a walk-off field goal. They played pretty horrifically, but they still won. They blew out Minnesota. They beat them by 40 points. They beat Penn State. They blew out Wisconsin. So this is an Iowa team that is gritty, not pretty. They're tough. They're disciplined. They have a coach who has our number. We have beat Iowa only one time in the past decade. Of course, that was in 2022 with Mekhi Joseph, Trey Palmer, Casey Thompson. But I'll say this about Iowa. We'll get to the strengths, the weaknesses, the keys to the game. Nebraska has a real opportunity to win. Despite all of that, Iowa's only a 4-point favorite. There's a lot going in Nebraska's favor, despite everything that's being talked about. And there is a real chance Nebraska breaks the narrative and wins on Black Friday. Let's start things off with Iowa's strengths, weaknesses, and how we pull off this upset. First strength of Iowa, no question about it. One of the best rushing attacks in America. You got to get things started here with Kamari Moulton, who is their main back, sophomore, coming out of Fort Lauderdale, Florida. He's ran for 700 yards this year, 2 touchdowns, 5 yards a pop. He's more of a bruiser, but man, is he productive? Is he smart? But what's interesting about Iowa this season is they really don't have a number one. Like, he is their number one, but he's got banged up this year. They've had to put in Patterson a little bit, who's a speed threat. They've put in Williams, who's a freshman stud. Watch out for Xavier Williams. He's going to be there for a long time. So they have multiple productive running backs who they like to get involved, who are all physical, all speedy, and all very smart. And honestly, the thing about Iowa that scares me the most this year, they have a great running back core. They have an awesome offensive line that's progressed over these past couple years. But for the first time in a long time, they also have a mobile quarterback. And that's unlocked something for them. Where Mark Gronowski, we'll talk about it, he's not the best when it comes to his arm, but he's a tough runner. And objectively, when you talk to Iowa fans, he is the best quarterback they've had in a decade. And he can't throw the football. It's a low bar, but it's because he's mobile. It's because, again, he will truck you. He will stuff arm you. They get him involved in the options, in design quarterback runs, in RPOs, in 5-wide situations. So just watch out for Mark Gronowski. They have a lethal running attack. And there are plays. Watch out for this. You'll see this a couple times on Friday where it is a 5-wide set. There is nobody in the backfield besides Mark Gronowski, and he'll take a wrap in the middle on a quarterback drop. They do it multiple times a game, and it works because he's that tough a runner. So that's the number one thing Nebraska has to stop. How can you stop the rushing attack, and how can you stop their mobile quarterback, all of which Nebraska has not done all year long. Second strength of Iowa, I'm going to go with their entire defense. Not one part of their defense, not one position group, it's their entire defense. One of the best in America. Let's start off with their run defense. It's top 20 in the country. They only give up 110 rushing yards per game. They have a stud defensive line, multiple productive players, whether it's a Max Llewellyn, who we're very familiar with, Ethan Herkett, multiple, again, big-time guys who are going to play on Sundays. They have experienced linebackers. They have one of the best defensive coordinators in America, in Phil Parker, who we're also very familiar with. So it's going to be tough for Emmett to get involved, especially after Emmett laying an egg last week. And it really wasn't Emmett's fault, it's the offensive line's fault. So our O-line is going to have their hands full. We also know that their pass D objectively is pretty much as good. They're top 10 in America. They only give up 160 yards per game. They have TJ Hall, who's decent. They have Xavier Nwangpo, who's a former 5-star, who's decent. So great pass D, great run D. They give up very few points a game. They shut out Wisconsin. They made Oregon's offense look pretty incompetent for the majority of that ball game. We know one thing. It's going to be low scoring. Very low scoring. And it's going to be gritty, not pretty. But that's Iowa football for you, and that's how they win. And last strength of Iowa, not a shocker, Kirk Ferentz, Phil Parker, very disciplined. They lead America in the least penalties per game in 2.8, and that's not a shocker. It feels like it's that way pretty much every single year for Iowa. They don't beat themselves. They wait for you to do that. Okay, they wait for you to beat yourselves. They wait for you to trip over yourself, throw an interception, have a fumble, and then they'll take advantage of you. That's what Nebraska always does. That's why every single year the Iowa versus Nebraska game is close, because Nebraska, for the most part, they'll have more talent, but they'll wait for Nebraska to trip up, and then they'll really get you. And we saw that last year. Nebraska dominated the ball game, but it took one play, which was the Caleb Johnson big receiving touchdown for a big receiving play for a touchdown that really opened things up. And then Iowa started taking advantage. That's when he knew it was over. So they wait for you to take care of yourself. They don't beat you. They wait for you to beat yourself. And also don't have any turnovers. They're top 10 least turnovers per game. They have a knack for winning close ball games. It's going to be a tough game for the Huskers. Those are their strengths. Now, let's get to their weaknesses, because Iowa is not a perfect team. They are 7-4 for a reason. Okay. And you could argue this is Iowa's best team in a while. I'll definitely agree with that. I think they're a lot better than what they were last year. But there are a lot of things that are not going in their favor that are going to go in Nebraska's favor on Friday that Nebraska should take advantage of. You start things off with Mark Gronowski. Now, we talked about him from a running standpoint. He's lethal. Like, he's going to kill Nebraska with his legs. Nebraska, all year long, has been unable to stop mobile quarterbacks. Okay, whether that was against USC, against Nico Amalavia with UCLA at the start of the season versus Brandon Sorsby in Cincinnati, we cannot stop quarterbacks who have any legs whatsoever. So that's obviously going to be really, really tough for Nebraska to handle. But as for Mark Gronowski throwing the football, I mean, he's terrible. He's a noodle arm. I mean, you look at the statistics on your screen. In 11 ball games, he's threw for only 1,300 yards, 7 touchdowns, 6 interceptions, an awful QBR. Okay, he has no accuracy whatsoever. He can't layer passes. He has no arm strength. He has no touch. His progressions aren't very good. And also, the receivers aren't very good for Iowa either, or they're all inconsistent. Their receiving leader has literally 300 yards on the season, and Jacob Gill, who's nothing. So they lack a lot of talent receiver. They don't have a quarterback who can do anything. We know their philosophy. It's going to be run, 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 and run. Now, they've had that for the past decade, and they've beaten Nebraska pretty much every single year. Let's see if things change. But we know they cannot air out the football. Then, I will say this. I just mentioned the secondary is a strength for Iowa, and objectively it is. Objectively, from a statistics standpoint, their secondary is a strength. But when you really dive into the film, it's really not as good as what the stats indicate. Like, you go back to the Michigan State game last week. They played against quite literally the worst team in the Big Ten. Michigan State's awful. And they have a backup quarterback. And that backup quarterback threw for 250 against Iowa's defense on the road. TJ Hall is somebody who is incredibly overrated. Iowa fans were talking all offseason like he's going to be an All-American. Like, he's done really nothing this year. And he got exposed when Nebraska played him in the Trey Palmer era. Trey Palmer put up, 200 on his head when TJ Hall was a freshman. So, listen, I think their secondary is overrated. While the statistics are good, while Phil Parker can scheme up that secondary very well, I truly believe the wide receivers play well for the Huskers. If TJ Lateef has a little bit of time in the pocket, we'll be able to air it out against them. It's definitely a lot easier of a challenge than what we had against Penn State. So I think the statistics are a little bit misleading when it comes to their secondary. And last but not least, around Iowa, they're similar to Nebraska in a way, where they play up to their top opponents. You know, they play up to Oregon, they play up to USC, and they make it a close ball game. But at times with Iowa, they also play down to their opponents. And you saw that versus Michigan State. They played down to their opponents. They're always in close ball games. Now, the difference between us and Iowa, we'll be in close ball games against everybody and we'll lose. They'll be in close ball games against anybody and they'll win most of the time. So we know how this ball game is going to be. I mean, it's already written in stone. It's going to be a close game. It's going to be one score in the fourth quarter. Now, Iowa has a track record of winning those games against Nebraska. Can Matt Rhule change the narrative? Because I'll tell you this, if you lose 3 times to Iowa in your first 3 years, people are not going to be happy. People are not going to be happy, especially with this easy of a schedule. And Iowa's not a world beater. They're good. This is not like a crazy Iowa team. They're the same Iowa team we've seen in the past decade. Nothing's changed. Can we finally figure out the Iowa formula and beat them? Or are we going to lose? We'll see. But it falls on Matt Rhule. As always, I will save my official score prediction until the day before the bowl game. That'll be released on Thanksgiving. I'll mull over. I'll think about it. But let's talk about my keys to victory. How do we win? How do we pull off this upset? Because Iowa right now, they're favored by 4 or 5 points, depending on what betting line you look at. How do we win? Because it is a real possibility. Number one, and these are all going to be very in-depth keys. Speed up the offense. Okay, go quick, go tempo. We're not going to out-physical Iowa. I'm not asking this offensive line to win the battle of the trenches. I'm not going to ask this team to do something they can't. Okay, we will lose the battle of the trenches with the offensive line and the defensive line. So in order to compensate for that, you have to speed up the offense. Okay, I'm talking quick passes, RPOs, screens, slants, ins, outs. Okay, be aggressive. It's the same way we won in 2022. We beat them in 2022 with a bad offensive line, bad defensive line. How? We were aggressive and we were smart. We played calculated football and we played with nothing to lose. So speed up the offense, keep them on their toes, hard counts, right? That's what we did versus Penn State. When they were having great success getting to the quarterback, we had hard counts, make them off balance. Okay, you don't want to be reckless, but have targeted aggression, speed up the offense, play quick. Second key of the game, stack the box. Stack the box. We need 6 or 7 or 8 guys in the box pretty much every single play, literally. I don't respect their passing attack. I don't think they can beat us through their arm, right? We know Markway is one of the worst quarterbacks from that standpoint in America. I don't think the receiver corps is very good. We have a decent secondary on paper. Stack the box because the only way they win this football game is running the football. And honestly, we've had good success stopping their run. I mean, last year we played Caleb Johnson, who was a Heisman candidate, and he only had like 50 rushing yards. So if we can stack the box, I really do believe we have a chance. I think we'll do that. Third key of the ball game. Start quick, non-negotiable. This team, honestly, unfortunately, we crumble mentally if we're down for the first quarter. The only way we win this football game is we start quick. And we need to start off 7-0, 10-0. Just need to. If I was up to begin this ball game, we're going to lose. Fourth, key of the game. Cleanest game of the year. Cleanest game of the year. No question about it. No turnovers. That's not negotiable. 3 or less penalties. Over 50% third down rate, over 75% fourth down rate. If you go for a fourth down, let's say you go for it 4 times. I only want you to mess up one of them. Okay, over 75% on fourth downs, ideally 100%. You play the battlefield position, you play Iowa's game, and you beat them in their own game, and you do not play conservative because that's how you lose against Iowa. Because Iowa is going to play a lot more conservative than we are, and Iowa will be better in that department. So you got to be aggressive. Play with nothing to lose. Don't be reckless, but play aggressive. But play clean because Iowa will take advantage. And last key, really, it's this simple. Don't give up. Don't give up hope. As a fan base, as a team, do not give up hope. Because it feels like in games like this, we wait around to the last second, it's close, and they strike at the very last second, and we lose. And everybody gives up. Never go up in this ball game. Never take your foot off of the gas. Go into it with the expectation to win from a player standpoint, from a coach's standpoint, and let's roll. Let's roll. Because when we play Penn State, we give up pretty quickly. When we play Minnesota, we give up pretty quickly. We give up. We give up very easily. When any adversity hits, we give up. Iowa does the opposite. Iowa never gives up, and that's why they always beat us. Never give up. When it's a close game, it's going to be inevitably a close game. Believe in yourself, believe in your training, believe in the coaching staff. Get it done, beat our rival. I do think it's a real possibility, but you got to be very calculated, and it starts with the coaching staff, and it goes all the way down. All right, guys, let me know your official score prediction for Nebraska versus Iowa. Again, I'll save mine for Thursday. Let me know your keys to the ballgame. Let me know what you're thinking. Hey, if you made this far, you know what to do. Hit that like button and subscribe. As always, folks, go Big Red, go Met Rule, and I'll see you in the next one.